So please welcome from Van Robotics, Laura.
Hi, thanks so much for being here this morning. I'm Laura Boconfuso. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Van Robotics. And I'm going to take you through a quick 6-minute journey, 6 minutes, hopefully, journey through how we founded the company, who we are, what we do, and where we're going. So I am, at heart, a planner. I like to plan things out. I like to have decision trees of trajectories of what could happen given this decision or that decision, given this scenario or that scenario. It's part of who I am. It's part of who I've always been. And back in 2003, when I was at home with 3 kids, raising them, I was very happy. You know, life was good. My third was going to go to school. And I thought it was a great opportunity for me to go back to school as well. So the plan was, I love kids, I love teaching. I thought I could teach at a higher level, so I wanted to get my PhD. And then eventually become a professor, in which it would give me the opportunity to really share what I'd learned and really foster that love of learning with other people. But as many good plans, mine decided to take a drastic change when this happened. I met these amazing, incredible kids as part of my dissertation research. I was a computer science and engineering PhD student. I was in the field conducting research to do human-robot interactions. And my job was to find out which assistive technologies could really benefit kids with special needs. And these kids and about 75 others that I came across both here at USC as a PhD student and then later at Yale as a postdoc changed my life irreversibly. And I wonder here if there's other people who've had those pivotal moments in their lives where they thought they were going somewhere, then something happened and changed their lives irreversibly. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about how that sort of played out. The longer I started to dig into special needs kids and the population and how we could develop really effective assistive technologies to help them, I realized that zooming out, there were a whole other group of people that were being affected by the needs of these kids who had learning challenges. Not only were the kids themselves affected, their parents were deeply affected. The teachers that were teaching them were deeply affected. We had a huge attrition rate in the school teacher population of 8% per year, which is huge. We were increasing the responsibilities in the classroom and for teachers and stressing them out. When you zoom out a little further, you can see that it actually also affects our state. If you can't read that, South Carolina was ranked dead last year by US News and World Report in terms of school performance. That's not acceptable. That's an astonishing statistic. And zooming out even further, we can see that it actually also affects our country. By the time they graduate from high school, only 1 out of 4 students graduates proficient in math. 1 out of 4, the entire population of the US. So my plan to take this job as a professor to teach and to sort of impart the wisdom that I had collected over the years about human-robot interaction was put on hold in exchange for this crazy rocket ship called the startup life that I'm getting to know even now. A lot of coffee and some tears along the way. I think many of you can maybe relate to the challenges and the struggles of being an entrepreneur, especially with some innovative technology or innovative idea that you might have to try to push into the market that may need a little bit of work to get through. So what started out with an idea, I was a postdoc at Yale, I took my idea, I said, you know, I've got this 10 years experience creating these technologies, they've been really effective, I have all these papers published showing how effective they are, and they looked at me and they said, that's great, you have an idea, go build a product. Go build something and show us, do a proof of concept that actually shows us that what you're talking about can happen in reality. So I went to SC Launch because the folks at SC Launch were looking for client companies, and I felt like I could be a good fit for their model. And so I came back to South Carolina, I pitched to them, I pled my case and said, we have all this research that shows this work. I've built robots in the past. I've deployed them in classrooms and in clinics with kids who needed them. And we have the evidence that shows that empirically this could really be a game changer for a lot of kids. And they awarded us the first grant money that we needed to buy the components to build our first robot. Shortly thereafter, I left my job at Yale and went to work for the company full-time, dedicating 100% of my effort and time to getting the robot ready for field testing. So we wanted to take it on a roadshow, and test it out with the general public. Techstars emailed me out of the blue, and if you're not familiar, Techstars is a global accelerator that takes companies, takes small startup companies and basically accelerates their growth rapidly. They said, we think you have a great product. We think this is a fantastic idea. It has a lot of potential to scale quickly and to scale and make a big impact in the world. Why don't you come join us and we'll help you build a strong company. And so I did. I took my stuff, I moved to Austin, Texas. I left my family and 3 kids here and commuted back and forth for 3 months and basically delved completely headfirst into the Techstars Accelerator program, which for me, again, was a game changer. Was a completely immersive, transforming experience that is still sort of carrying me today. Shortly thereafter, we left the program and we were awarded a large grant from NIH to support the rest of the research that we were doing to build the MVP and get it launched in the market. So fortunately, I've worked with a lot of really smart people, and I was able to call upon some of my colleagues that were in the PhD program with me and people that I met at Yale, people who are just dedicated to helping kids in general. And I was able to start building a small core team of people to help sort of row the oars on the boat, so to speak. And so we're now still a pretty small core of people with a number of contractors helping, but we're growing this team to help make this dream a reality. And so what we're building is the world's first smart robot tutor. What we're doing is actually we're creating an AI-enabled smart robot tutor that takes not only performance, so not only your cognitive skill, what you can do today, but also tracks your attention and your stress level to then adapt how it teaches individual students. This is really, really missing in the technology space today. We have a lot of apps that can actually track your cognitive ability. We have apps that can tell you and recommend what your next classes, your next skills should be, but we don't have any apps to take the entire student into account. And there are major, major challenges today with attention. 1 in 5 kids has attentional deficit disorder, and with stress levels. A lot of literature shows that it starts in 3rd grade. So by the time they're in 5th grade, students who feel like they can't do math have already disengaged from the subject altogether. So we're losing a lot of students in those early years, and we're developing a technology to help keep them engaged and encourage them along the way. So we took this alpha prototype that I built back when I was at Yale, we took it on a roadshow across the country in order to get that empirical evidence that was so crucial to show other people, to show our investors, to show our mentors, and to basically prove to ourselves that this is actually something that could affect change in the student population. We visited 6 states across the country, and the results were pretty astonishing. The first pretest we delivered to these students, kids averaged about 45% on a given skill, a given math skill. These were 3rd and 5th grade students. After working 2 sessions with the robot for about 20 minutes each session, their scores improved to 79%, which was a 34% net gain in their performance, which was much higher than we actually anticipated. And that was for about 2/3 of the population, about 66.8% of the population we worked with. Here's a little example of what it looks like in practice.
Awesome sauce.
This is a
Wow. You did.
student
I'm
in
so proud of you.
Kansas.
We solved the problem together, and you distracted. Guess what? Now it's time to dance.
Right, and so you can't really hear the music that she's listening to because it's a little loud, but you get the idea of how this works. So we have a web-enabled, a web app that is Wi-Fi enabled. We have a robot, and then we actually teach concepts using that screen and getting lots of feedback and adaptive behaviors from the robot. So the robot can say, hey, looks like you're not paying attention. We're about to hit something really important here. Let's make sure we redirect our attention to the screen so we don't miss this crucial piece of information. So we saw about 170 students in our road trip across the country. Whoop. See if I can get back to that screen. Yes. And we saw dozens of teachers and administrators who we interviewed and surveyed and asked, basically administered questionnaires to find out what they thought about the technology, how they would use it in the classroom, the kinds of pain points that they had, and how they would see this technology being an effective solution for them. We got lots of great feedback from them, and so we are now at the point where we're ready to launch in schools next fall, late summer, next fall. We are actually ongoing talks with schools here in South Carolina, in the Midwest, as well as in sort of southern states, in Florida and Georgia as well. And so eventually, we look to also allow and sort of offer this technology to parents to be able to buy to supplement their own tutoring services and any kind of intervention that they already may be engaging their students in. So would love to hear your thoughts. If any of you have any connections in the school systems or in school boards whatsoever, I would love to talk to you, and we can sort of have a dialogue about how this kind of solution would be effective in your schools as well. Great stuff. Give her a hand. Thanks so much.